Welcome everyone to the Online Chapters Education Committee meeting. This is our favorite time of the month when we get to, or of the year, we have these open forum workshops the third Wednesday of every odd month. And we welcome you to first enjoy our presenter, and then you can ask questions. We open up the floor. You can ask questions of Bob, who's doing our presentation this evening, or you can just ask a general question that you'd love to hear everybody weigh in on. As always, with Better Investing, we may talk about specific stocks, but we are not advising you to go ahead and buy those stocks. We are advising you to, if this sounds interesting, to do your own research, because that's the fun of being in Better Investing. And now I'm going to turn it over to one of our Education Committee members, Phil Suter, who will introduce our speaker for the evening. Phil, take it away.
Thanks, Chris. And I'm going to welcome everybody here as well. Bob Houle is a Better Investing member for 13 some odd years. He was with the Space Coast chapter that launched into the North Florida chapter. He's been a BIVO board member and is a online chapter director. He's been working with AI for the last couple of years with regards to investing, and is here tonight to present his background and research. Welcome, Bob.
Oh, thank you, Phil. Thank you for the introduction, and thank everybody for joining us tonight. I'd like to start by thanking the Education Forum Committee for inviting me. This is one of my favorite topics now, and I hope it'll be one that you'll find interesting and rewarding. Tonight, we're going to be talking about how artificial intelligence can be a very powerful tool for us to use in analyzing companies to see if they meet and will continue to meet our requirements for investing in quality growth companies. We have a nice mix of people here tonight. In fact, looking at the list, I know most of you and look forward to chatting with all of you afterwards. My goal tonight isn't to make you an expert in AI, which is way outside my competence level. I'm just a simple user, but been pretty successful with it, I think. The objective is to explore with you how this technology can be used to enhance our own existing time-tested, disciplined, long-term approach to investing. The big idea I want to leave you with tonight is that artificial intelligence, and I'll just keep calling it AI, should augment our investing judgments, not replace it. And this distinction is central to our entire discussion tonight. Let's start by reminding ourselves of the timeless better investing principles that have guided our members seeking quality growth companies for almost 75 years now. It's not about speculation or hot tips, it's about education, disciplined execution, and long-term investing. Our four core principles have stood the test of time. Invest regularly in a diversified set of qualified growth companies and reinvest the earnings. It's that simple. AI is just the latest set of productivity tools that have come along that will help us discover and analyze quality growth companies. And that's what we're going to be covering tonight. So let's start at the beginning. Let's reflect on George Nicholson and his enduring vision. He was a visionary who, with Tom O'Malley and other better investing pioneers, developed our methodology and the stock selection guide. His brilliance was in empowering individual investors with a structured learning tool, which we know now as the stock selection guide, and a philosophy towards stock investing that we understand, that we trust, and that we continue to use through good times and bad times in the market. The SSG was designed for our understanding of the process and for our judgments. It was not intended to be a magic black box that only the most sophisticated investors would be able to use. His emphasis on understanding the why and learning by doing is incredibly prescient and more relevant now than ever with the emergence of artificial intelligence. Tonight, the headline topic that we advertised was using AI to do first cuts. So let's start with that. What is a first cut? First cut stock studies are our initial filter. It's a vital go, no-go decision that we make to screen out companies that are not worth investing any more of our time on researching. The first cut has two purposes. One is to quickly see if a company even deserves our time to do any deeper analytical studies at all. And for those that do pass this initial quality screen, to share that knowledge in our judgments on the company with the rest of the Better Investing community through submitting first cuts. So let's recall the key criteria we use. Consistent sales and earnings growth, healthy margins, reasonable debt, competent management, and the list goes on for a few more items. These are what I call level one metrics, the historical what stuff that the company is doing to attract our attention. First cuts are all about spotting that initial quality and growth characteristics of a company that we think might be interested and for sharing our informed opinions on them with others. So how does that artificial intelligence fit in here? Here's where it fits in. AI excels at tasks that, when properly applied, can streamline the overall stock study process, freeing our mind for deeper analysis. Think of it as a powerful data assistant. Lightning fast data gathering that automates all the tedious data compilation that we're doing now. You can easily spot trends and patterns in companies' operations, and that's the what stuff on the data. For example, sales went up, the margins are stable, things like that. Really handy is its ability to synthesize masses of text to rapidly summarize company and industry overviews, things like that. That's all stuff that we can do and that are doing routinely. But the question that's emerging now is, why should we be doing that when we have the tools that are available to us that can do it better and faster than we can? Now, that's not saying they're going to take over the judgment, but they're gathering doing all the dredge work that we've been doing all this time. And that's where AI comes in. It can take the drudgery out of doing stock studies. But the crucial point, again, that cannot be overemphasized is this. AI tools are for efficiency and for providing us insights on the data. They are not substitutes for our decision making. So what's the downside of AI? It's the perils of over-reliance on it. And that over-reliance is the counterbalance to the promise of AI. AI's limitations are precisely where our value as better investing analysts lie. Why is that? It's because AI lacks the why factor. It tells us what happened, but not why. For example, AI tells us that EPS declined, but not that EPS declined due to a one-time charge from a divestiture, something like that. AI can't grasp the true competitive moats, the management quality, or deep strategic nuances that only we as human beings can really pick up. It has no intuition, no foresight. It relies solely on historical data, and it can't predict true disruptions or black swan events. But I guess we can't either, so we're kind of even on that. AI, in many ways, is a black box. Some of the outputs that we get, you can't understand where it came from. You don't understand the reasoning. And that goes against our own better investing philosophy, showing our work. We've used the SSG, how we computed things. Then there's the learning trap. If AI ends up doing all the thinking for us, we don't do any learning and we don't grow as investors. Our brain, our judgment, our critical thinking, these remain our most valuable investment tools. And that brings us to the future me. The future me. This is the conceptual framework that actually I introduced at my Bank 2019 presentation on first cuts made simpler. The trick question I posed them was, who is the audience for the first cuts? And we got all kinds of answers, but in the end, it came down to the true audience is ourself, our future self. The purpose of the first cut is to properly document our planning and the judgments and our expectations that we had when we first made it up. And this enables us later, quarters or a year later, to compare the actual results of what our initial thoughts were. And that allows us to understand why things are different and be able to take corrective action. And it builds up our own confidence in being able to do stock studies in the future. So this is the heart of the continuous learning that George Nicholson preached to us. So with that as background, let's go on and talk about how AI can help us. Let's put it all together. Tonight, we're going to walk through a practical step-by-step workflow for doing first cut stock studies. I hope to show you how artificial intelligence can be integrated into our first cut process and actually our overall stock study process and enable deeper learning and robust documentation for the future me. The underlying theme throughout this workflow is that AI handles all the drudge work, the mechanics, the data, summaries, and things like that, while we focus on the meaning of things, the judgments, interpretations, stuff like that. So as we go over this, be thinking of the three roles, artificial intelligence, our role, and our future role, the future me. And I'm going to go through a 6-step process here. Step one, we start at the beginning. We set out to identify a set of companies that we're interested in finding out more about. AI's role in this is helping us find them. You start by having AI act as a super fast screener, asking it for companies that meet basic quantitative criteria that we provide, and also provide us with a very short, succinct business description. Now, our role as the human judgment is this is our first filter. We look at what it came back with, and does anything immediately fall outside of our circle of competence, or is there anything that's obvious no-go? And these are things that we're critically assessing when we look at what the AI comes back with. The future part of me is what we're doing is we're documenting why we chose or excluded certain companies from the initial list. And that captures our preliminary mindset on this thing. The second step is data collection. This is where AI offers immense efficiency. Ask it to generate a table of 5 to 10 years of key financial data, sales, earnings, margins. You ask it for analyst growth rates, things like that. And it'll come back with this stuff. Our role, and this is absolutely critical. This is the big thing that we're doing as the human part of this. Yeah, this is non-negotiable. Always cross-reference what it comes back with official sources like the company's 10K or Q or other trusted platforms. AI can make mistakes, and it's kind of like a little kid. When it makes a mistake, sometimes it makes up the answer. And the problem, the real risk with it is some of these answers look really good. In the trade, this is called hallucinating. And so you've got to always be double and triple checking these things. The future me connection is, again, ensuring that accurate, auditable data foundation is being used and being recorded. And you want to note these things for future verification. A third step is that analysis and consistency check. AI's role is you prompt the AI to analyze the trends from the data that it provided you, but you've reviewed and you're accepting it into your system. And then you ask it to go back and calculate things, compound annual growth rates if you want, or whatever it is that you want to have. You're having a conversation with the AI interactively, going back and forth. So AI gives you the what about the trends. Our role is to investigate the why. That's the level 2 stuff that we get into. AI can't tell you why a trend exists. If the EPS dipped, you need to find out why. And is it a one-time event or a new product cost or whatever the issue may be? And you've got to apply our quality criteria to these trends. Again, for the future me, you want to be documenting all these initial hypotheses in areas that you need to research later on a little bit more on why certain things are happening. So this sets up your plan for the deeper research. Okay, the fourth step is understanding the business more. Here we're looking at the qualitative business and the competitive overview. AI can help us out here a lot here. Rapidly synthesizes what the company's core business is and products, markets, main competitors. It gets all that from public information, and it can provide you that in a quick context. And you can actually specify what the format is that you want these things to come back in, whether a table or just a narrative or just what. Again, our role, again, is critically evaluating what AI comes back with. Its summaries can be very superficial. It could be outdated. So we're still going to, the bad news is you're still going to have to read the 10Ks and the uh, other prime source documents. AI really can't grasp the true competitive mode or the subtle market shifts that are going on. It's things that only we can understand and actually have in our conversation with AI, feed it back to them and provide them mid-course corrections. Again, the future me, here's where you're starting to build a robust narrative based on what our understanding is of what's going on. And it provides us the information that we need to explore things with the AI with more penetrating questions for them. Uh, Next is the preliminary management and risk assessment. AI's role is to quickly surface the factual information. CEO and CFO, these are two critical people. What's going on with them? Are they new to the job? Have they? In some cases, we've seen it where both of them have suddenly wanted to spend more time with their families, and that's one of the red flags that comes up. Things like that. And these are things that, yeah, we can pick up through the trade magazines and all that, but you can have AI go through the trade magazines and pull these things out for us. Uh, Again, our role here is we've got to assess management's quality and their integrity. And AI just reports the facts. So we've got to research the context of any of the flag news and interpret if something bad, and just how bad is it? Really something serious, or something that we can just note and look at it another day. Future me again, more documentation, and the sixth step is the ultimate decision, the go no go. AI's role is just to help structure your thinking. You could ask it. You can ask it. Present the case for buying this company. Present a case as to why we should not buy it. What are the key concerns? What are the flags? Do a SWOT profile on the company. And it'll come back and present all this information that all during the process you're kind of verifying yourself and present it in a form that will help you make your own decision. But again, that decision is ours, and AI cannot make it. We've got to weigh the evidence, and we've got to apply our own better investing understanding of the philosophy and everything, and make that decision. Uh, and again, future me is documenting all this, making up the initial investment rationale, explaining to yourself, and in my case, explaining to my wife why we're recommending going ahead and buying this. And when you do all this, you end up with what's called an investment thesis, which is your narrative as to what you were expecting and everything. By the way, all this future me documentation that we're doing, this is all actually captured as part of the conversation that you're having with the artificial intelligence tools that you're using at the end of this dialogue, and I do this, and it typically goes on for, with no exaggeration, 80 or 100 pages of just dialogue going back and forth. We'll see that later on. Before you leave it, you can ask it to summarize all this stuff. Okay, the continuous learning loop. AI's deeper contribution is, and it's probably most valuable, it allows us, it is a great training platform at teaching us how to do the thing. We don't have Susie Otzberger around all the time, or Ken Kabul or something like that. But this is our coach. He can actually use it as coach, and it can help structure the future me thinking about a particular company. If you got structured documentation, I've been doing systematic reviews of everything. It accelerates your self-awareness of how good you are at doing stock studies and all that. And that's George Nicholson's legacy to us. But tools change. Over time, it started off with the paper. Then I don't know if it's Ralph Seeger or somebody came up with the SSG, and then you had the computer group come through, and then we've had a whole bunch of things happen to better investing. COVID, of course, and now the latest thing is artificial intelligence. You can see with the webinars that Susie and others have been producing. I think Mel mentioned there were 4 so far. Uh, there's a lot of focus is being paid to that. Tonight, I'm not focusing on how to find the next Amazon that's going in the AI world or anything, but it's focused on how we can use it in doing our stock studies. So some tips on how to get started. Well, the first step is just start. Start simple. Begin with basic data extraction prompts. Don't try to, and you shouldn't try to automate the whole thing. I'm a great one with spreadsheets, so but it's the old thing of throwing stones if you live in a glass house or something. But you don't want to start off simple. And I find it very, very helpful to make believe that you're dealing with a college intern that's on loan to you, and you're an executive, and you have to explain to the intern just how the business runs, and then you send them out to do something, and then they come back with something, and you either accept it or you coach them on what's the next thing to do. The AI is very good at some things, but it's a functional idiot at many other things. It doesn't really know what's going on. Uh, choose your tools. You don't have to shop around for a whole bunch of things. All these AI bots. I think we're going to get to a place where AI is going to be like a utility for us. Every place you go, in fact, every place on the internet now is this. You can't get away from some form of AIs and everything. If you start off with ChatGPT and Gemini, that's usually good enough. And then as you get a little more refined, you may want to go over to some of the others. Mel, 2 months ago, did us an absolute superb job. So you want to get on YouTube and go through his presentation and talk about how to craft the proper prompts and all that. Specificity is key. One of the things that you're doing, particularly if you're dealing with the free versions of these tools, is you have to train them. These AI bots have been trained on all kinds of data, scrubbing away trillions of whatever's. But you have to train it on your world and about you and about your role with better investing and what you're trying to do. And you do that through the prompts. You'll see that in a little bit later. But again, always verify what the output is, what the AI is doing. So the focus is on the process of the integration, how AI is fitting into our workflow, and we're going to be talking about that very shortly. Experiment, iterate. Iterate is going to be it should be part of your mantra. Constantly asking it questions, constantly challenging the responses that it gives you, and see how committed it is to its own answer. Okay, so how do you think about artificial intelligence so far? The goal of adding artificial intelligence to our tool chest is to empower us to be informed investors. To reiterate, AI is a remarkable tool for productivity and insight. It can save us a lot of time and surface a lot of information for us very fast. But our brain, our judgment, our understanding, our critical thinking, and our commitment to continuous learning remains our most powerful investment tool. AI is here to empower us, to deepen our better investing practice, and to make our future me a much more confident and successful investor. So don't ignore AI. and you can't ignore it. It is not going to go away. Okay, so that's enough of the philosophy, and let's get into some of the fun stuff. I want to thank you for bearing with me on these, but these are important things that had to be laid out right at the beginning. Going back, when we announced that the topic of this month's education forum would be how to use AI to do first cuts. And I think what follows delivers on that promise. And I hope when we get through, you'll agree. What we did, and when I say we, it's me and I have a Gemini or a Chat GPT or some of the others, and we're going to be getting a notebook LM here shortly. Uh, we constructed for you an actual workbook on how to do first cuts in a regular step-by-step manual for you. In this handout is a link for you to download this workbook to your own computers. So you'll be able to do that. And Chris, afterwards, you got to show everybody um, where to get the handouts and things. Uh, if you don't have time tonight to do, well, we don't have time tonight to do a first cut, but I think the workbook will be enough for you to be able to follow the logic and everything. To help you get started, let's go over how the workbook is constructed. Each step starts with a description of what we're doing on that step. To provide context, what we do is we explain our understanding of what we're doing right now, what's called the traditional approach. Then we show what AI's value add is in this step. And then the next, we provide an example of how we would interact with AI. You know, what those new do, just starting with artificial intelligence, the first thing is let's create a book of prompts. And if we know what to ask it, then you push that button, copy, paste, put it in the whatever we're doing, and it'll come back with the answer. That's a good way to practice and start off, but that doesn't even come close to tapping the power of AI, and it's actually a diversion for you. You'll see this as we go along. We close this step by explicitly bringing in the human insight in the process and reviewing the judgments and the other things that are going on. So I'm not actually going to go into the workbook just yet. We're going to talk about what I think is the most interesting parts, in particular, what I'm going to be going over tonight, the overall analysis framework. And okay, I hope you can see the arrow up here. I believe you can. What you do when you're starting this thing is you set up a folder on your computer. I work in both worlds, but for tonight, let's just stay with the Google world. So I go into Google Drive and I create a folder, and I label whatever the stock ticker is, and everything that I do, everything that I capture, all goes into that folder. Now the research that I do with ChatGPT and Gemini and the others, I record the dialogue. I open up a Google Docs diagram, and I go through and create that document. I put a description on what area of research I'm doing, and then I put in what the prompt is, what the question I'm asking, and then I record, copy. And there's a button on all these to just copy that whole dialogue and paste it into this document. This is the document that goes for 80, 90, 100 pages easily. If you don't have a paid version, you're not paying the $20 a month thing, you're using the free one, this document is really vital for you because it's recording. You start off with, ChatGPT, and you do the series of prompts and the responses. You go on for usually, I found about 8 or 9, and ChatGPT comes back and says, "Okay, Bob, it's 9:50. Come back at 11:20, and you can continue this dialogue." Well, it's 9:15. I want to wrap things up soon. I just normally it dumps you out of whatever high level version you were in into something else. That your last prompt is say, "Okay, what I want you to do is summarize our whole thing in a form that I can go over to Gemini and dump it into that system and continue with this dialogue." So that's part of the value of it. And the third part, and this is really the exciting part, and if I recall, Mel, in his presentation said, yeah, the Notebook LM, I've heard about it, but I haven't done all that much with it. That's what we're going to spend the rest of this time taking a look at. This is what Diego Forte wrote a book on, the second brain. And this is the ideal platform for his second brain thing. You take all this information and hope you can see me. I've got quotes. Uh, you, you, I was going to say dump it in. You put it into Notebook LM, and let me show you the overall diagram here. Okay, this is your workflow. This part in the middle here, this is the Notebook LM. We'll talk about what it does, but you need to get information into it right now. If you were to open up a Notebook LM, and we'll do that in a few minutes, and ask it a question, you're going to find you can't even ask it a question. The little box there where you put your prompt, it won't let you do anything because it has nothing. It's I should have put a graphic in there, Sergeant Schultz, I know nothing. It knows nothing about you and everything. You've got to train it. That's the beauty of Notebook LM. You control all the information that's going in it. So you don't have to worry about the garbage and all that if you're careful. So you've got three things that are going into this Notebook LM. First of all, there may be some uh, subject matter training that you can go in and you can write a little note to it and explain that, my name's Bob. I'm with Better Investing. This is my level of expertise. I'm a fundamental investor, and you can keep that. That's part of your prompt library. The little blurb, it goes in, so it knows who you are, where you're coming from, what your strengths are, what your interests are, and all that. Then there's a whole series of things that you can put into Notebook LM that you can trust. And these are things that I call direct uploads. These things you can trust in Value Line, Morningstar, the company presentations, with a grain of salt, I guess, sometimes, the SEC filings, a whole bunch of other things that are factual things. These are things that you can upload into Notebook LM, and I'll show you how to do that very shortly. There are other things that you can't take on face value. You go into ChatGPT or Gemini or any of these others, and you're asking your questions. You're doing the prompt response routine and all that. You're coming back with stuff, but you've got to look at it. You've got to decide, okay, is this correct? Is this valid information? And you right within the tool. Let's say you just work with ChatGPT. It comes back and you disagree. You can go back and ask it. I said, this is not my understanding of how this worked. Would you explain where you came up with this? And it's kind of eerie. Sometimes, so you got to sometimes have a wife or a spouse that keeps you grounded on these things, but have the dialogue with it and get through. And then when you get through, you go back and say, okay, here's my answer. What I want you to do is give me a summary of whatever level of detail you specify. I want you to give me a document that I can press this button here, copy it, and I can put that into Notebook LM. So I'm controlling, and that's what this yellow blob is over here. This is whatever quality control system that you set up. So this is your whole what you're doing, your training, Notebook LM. Now let's take a look over here. Actually, I probably got a little bit ahead of myself. So this is the trusted sources here, and this over here are the sources that need to be challenged. And what you're doing is you're building that knowledge base that you're again putting into Notebook LM. Notebook LM has a tremendous amount of power. It can take all this stuff and it understands what you're putting in, and it can pull relationships. It can do things that are truly truly awesome. The paid version of this, and which is what I'm using now, is it can actually go out. It's got a little discover, what's called a discover button, and you can press that, and you can tell it, Notebook, I want you to go out and give me all the sources related to this question that I have. And it'll come back with 10, 15 sources, You can go through and click to which ones that you want to bring in. It's not automatically bringing them. It allows you to bring those in and for you to consider these things. And then what do you get out of all this? All kinds of things. You've got all the information you need for a first cut, and or you can for everything that you need for a full stock study. Now, having gone through all this for a little over half an hour, we're almost done here for this part. At the end, I'm a firm believer that you can do a first cut and you don't have to use AI at all. All the tools that you need are right within the software. You can go through them. Maybe that's a training session in another forum at some point in time. But this is very, very helpful, and particularly when you take the next step to do a stock study. So that is the overall process, and that ends my formal presentation. Any questions at this point? Or did I lose everybody?
No,
And let me see.
that was Bob
Okay.
Malkrotzer here. Um,
Hey, Mel,
yeah,
you're
this is very,
brilliant.
very, very good. And, I heartily endorse, the use of Notebook LM. For the data gathering part of this, I have found that you can scrape data, whether it's from the 10K or from stockanalysis.com. And I was kind of amazed that it will do a simple arithmetic. In other words, if you want a percentage, just tell it to take the percentage of one thing versus the other, and it does it. So I'm quite impressed with Notebook LM, and I think there's a lot of uses we could put that to help us analyze stocks.
All righty. Thank you. Those are high compliments. Okay, you still see the screen there, right? Now let's go into Notebook LM. You just type in notebooklm.google. You do need a Google account to be able to use it. It's a Google product. You
Bob,
don't have to.
we are
Yes,
not
sir.
seeing your screen. Please share it again.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sorry,
Share.
Bob, I did that. I thought you were finished and I wanted to be able to see all the participants, but you should be able to share again. I apologize.
No problem. Let me see. Now I got to find which screen. I'll share that one. And
Hey, Bob,
is that
this is
showing?
Steve Emmerich. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi, Steve.
Well, you keep going, and while you're going out, I'm going to ask you a question. Have you tried putting audio files in the Notebook LM? I have not done that yet.
I did one, and I was going to spring it on my investment club next time. Next time I had to do a stock monitors report, I was going to click the button and have it give the 3-minute stock monitors report.
Okay.
And so that's all. That's something my fellow club partners can be looking forward to. Let me verify. Do you see on the screen saying "understand anything"?
No, it's just questions. You have to choose a different
Okay.
thing.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Yeah, where it says "understand." Now you got it. You can see it.
Yes. Understand anything?
Okay.
Yep.
Notebook LM. You just click on try. And it's going through. Loading up. And let me see, if you don't believe that I'm an extensive user on this thing, here's all it goes on and on. And I use it for, I've got a bunch of things with Better Investing that I use it for. So it's all kinds of things that are going on. Okay, let's create a new one. So you just go right over here, create new. And okay, see down here, this is where down the bottom is where you'd, okay, let me close that. You'd ask a question. It won't allow you to ask a question because it doesn't do anything. So you've got to upload the sources. And you go right over here. And what I'm going to do is, let's see, Google Docs. I just came out of Jim's webinar on doing first cuts, and there should be, let's see if it's going to be no, that's not it. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I go into my drive. Okay, this is an example. You go into the drive, and I'm going into one of my folders, and let me change the view so I'm familiar with it. Okay, areas of interest. Come on. Stock tickers, and go on down to E and Ensign is what we were just doing. So there we've got these two documents here that I can take one, take both, and I can insert them. Okay, so now I've got some stuff coming in, and it's looking at it first and telling me, it's kind of giving a quick summary. Let's go over here, going back to my drive. And I was going to load it up ahead of time, but actually this is part of the learning experience, so you can see what's going on. And go back into my home folder and areas of interest. Come on. Stock tickers. And it's coming up. Okay, under E, Branson. And go in here. Right here.
While you're loading that, Bob, I'm going to ask you another question.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Can you drop an audio file in that work area that you're working with right now?
YouTube files. You can take the education forum, the open forum series, and put it all in there if you want. Okay, let me go through and all the PDFs. Well, okay, let me go back over here. The sources you want to add. Now, this answers the question. You can load in Google Docs. You can load in Google Slides. You can go into the drive and pull in other files. You can go to a website. You can load YouTubes. You can pull in PDFs and other all these things, all these type of files. The recordings from meetings. We're routinely doing that now for making up the minutes. Very concise things. Or at the end, you could just take something, copy and paste it right in. But over here for choosing the files, I'm going to go and
while Bob is doing that, this is Bakul. Do you guys hear me?
Yeah, hi, Bakul.
Good. So Steve, the audio file input that Notebook LM takes is in MP3 format. So anytime you have an MP3 file, you can load it in.
Great.
Right. And it
great.
also takes it.
Thank you.
Also takes a WAV file.
Yes.
And you can ask it to summarize, which I found kind of interesting. So you get a summary of, if you have somebody talking, it'll transcribe it basically.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it'll be helpful where they have an earnings report, a quarterly earnings report, maybe
Absolutely.
You get comments from the the CFO or the CEO about about their last quarter's report.
You could go a step further on that. The ones that you want to capture are the analysts' questions, and have the AI. Okay, they've asked 20 different questions. Where are these analysts going? What are the things that they're concerned about? And it's really interesting. I found that with Clearfield, which was a real go-go stock and all that. The analysts early on were concerned about their inventory management, and they built up a big inventory. So a lot of stuff that still haven't sold yet, but that's a separate story. Okay, so all this stuff that you have more in here, you go through. It helps you start off. It gives you questions if you want. You go through what are the core business operations of financial health? Good question. And it'll go through and it will give you a summary of these things. And quite extensive. It goes through, and these are all, now you would have earned, because this is a system that already knows me and where I'm coming from and all that. It knows I'm concerned about fundamental investing and all that. If you look through it and you say, this is pretty good stuff, I want to keep it, you can save it. And it goes right over here on the right-hand side. It's saved. If you want to have it in outside of this notebook that you can do, and you can copy it, and now it's on a clipboard, and you can open up a document and paste it in or email it to yourself or things like that. One thing, if it's a particularly helpful thing, or if it's particularly way off base, you can indicate and give it feedback, because what you're doing is you're training it what you want from it and all that. So, and you can go through a whole bunch of, you can ask, well, anybody have a question about Ensign? Just a quickie thing.
Just a
About,
comment, I like
yeah.
that they have the sources there, where they got
Yeah.
that information, the little points there. If you
Yeah,
click
so it
on
makes
them,
a
I think
statement,
you
you
get,
click on it,
yep.
and it shows you just where in your sources it got that.
So
I mean,
Bob,
this
if
is
you're
really,
using a website as a source, will it, so you don't have to put in, like if you're using stockanalysis.com and you've got your Ensign, all you need as the source is stockanalysis.com, and it'll pull the information on Ensign from there.
well, I've never tried it, but let's try it.
Yes, that's it. You get the page you want, like on stockanalysis.com, and you upload it, and then you can basically ask it to scrape the data that you want from that particular website.
So I guess I'm not sure, so I go on to stockanalysis.com, plug in, look at Ensign, and when it pops up, I cut and paste that in as a source, or do I can just put in the stockanalysis.com as a source?
What when you press the option to upload a web page, you'll get a drop down, and what you do then is copy and paste the URL into that. There you go. And then that gets uploaded, and then you can ask questions of what's on that page.
Okay.
And you could put several pages. For example, there's the financial. You want material on the financials. There might be things on the I think there's the ratios. Okay, you could put all that up there and then ask questions of it.
So so my question is, so if I'm building this, do I have to plug in Ensign, the symbol for Ensign on this page, or will it, if I just plug the page in, if it'll automatically go to the Ensign information? I guess
yeah, I mean, when you get the page you want for the company you want, that's what it'll upload.
That's what I need to do then.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to do more, but this is, no, that's an interesting question. I don't have the answer to that one. But you can plug these things in. And actually what I'm going to do later on this week, I'll go back to, I watched Mel's presentation, I think 3 times. Okay, at 1.5 speed and all that. But I'm going to take it and I'm going to upload it. And then I'll be able to ask right over YouTube. You know, if I knew what the URL thing was, I'd plug it in, and then you can ask it all kinds of questions. Then let me see. Go back over here. One of the things you can do the audio overview, which takes a little bit of time to generate it. Here's a mind map of what we've got over here so far. And it comes back with, and I'm a guy who uses mind maps all the time. I never finish a mind map. I get far enough into it to understand something, and then I go on to whatever the next school is. But it's, while we're waiting, other people, please ask questions or contribute here. I'm just waiting for this to come up.
What does the mind map give you, Bob?
I'm going to show you that in just a minute. Basically, how the information is structured. So it's should be coming up here. Wonder if I clicked the wrong button. Okay, clicked open. Okay, I clicked open. Oh, there we go. There's Ensign, and based on the information we provided, it breaks down, what the over here business model. It goes into all different levels. Again, based on the information we had quite a discussion on the leases and everything, the impact on things like that. Jim, do you have any questions that you want to ask of this thing right here?
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about during the first cut workshop, was about the impact of like the the big beautiful bill, the impact
Yep.
on that it would have if they cut the Medicare, Medicaid allocation to those skilled nursing
Yeah.
services. So a question like that, or just a question regarding the impact of the amount of debt that they have regarding the long-term leases.
There was a whole bunch of things there that you could ask. And let me see. Let me go back. Okay. Whoops. Okay. You know what? How are we doing on time? Okay, just a few minutes, and I promised you Warren Buffett's annual letters. I open that one up. And right here, if you go to Warren Buffett's website, you can they're all in PDFs, and you can just copy paste and load it up all yourself. So you got all these sources here, each year's thing and everything. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to share this, and whoops, let me do share. Do the full notebook, and I'm going to copy the link. Okay, where does this? There's chat. Okay, I'm getting used to this, I think. Okay, and EUFFFEG. And somebody, okay, I'm putting that in. And would somebody click on it, make sure that you can get it. You can open that up. And Warren is, let's see, and I've got some Charlie Munger stuff and here too. You can go through and ask it all kinds of questions. And I saved a bunch of them over here. So you'd be able to do all that. You'll be able to generate your own deep dive. Okay, this is on the conversation. So we probably won't have time to go through it because it takes a while. But you can customize it that you want it to be a short conversation or a longer one. And you can ask it. Okay.
I'm not sure that worked, Bob.
Okay, didn't.
It's taking me to yeah, he says you do not have
Oh, you got
access to view this notebook. The one that
you
you're
have to
trying
be
to
logged
share.
in. Okay, let me go back and do this again. Okay, let me X out of this. Go here. Okay, and alrighty. So let's see. Welcome note. Okay, so I did something. Okay, there we go. Anyone with a link. Yep, there we go. That's why I'm glad that I checked full notebook. So you're going to be able to add stuff to it, and this will be your own copy. So I'm gonna. Whoops, I want to.
Yeah, it
Copy the
says you do
link.
not have access to this notebook
Okay,
unless you've
I'm going to do
reposted
this.
it. I think you
Okay.
need to repost it.
Okay, I just
Okay.
reposted it. Let's see if that's going to work now.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Could you also do the do the one for the ensign group? Because there's some people from the workshop that
Yeah.
are on.
Whoops.
If you
Okay,
could
this is-
share that too, so they can kind of take it back and play with it.
Okay, let me go back. Let's see, I ended up went all the way out. Notebook LM. And you can sort the list, so there's a whole separate thing of how you label your files so that it gets properly grouped. I think they're going to come up with some kind of file structure for yourself. Ensign group right here. Okay. And I go to share. And it's restricted. I'm making that notebook. Okay, so it's full notebook. Copy the link. And I'm putting this one in now. Okay, so all you Ensign people, can copy that and be all set.
Bob,
And
did
Chris,
you
you
ever,
got 4 minutes. I'm good for the rest of the night, but
I have a
uh,
question.
yes, sir.
Did you ever try to plug in an SSG or a template from, say, First Cut and see if it can fill it out? Can you train it to fill it out?
No, I never tried it, and I wouldn't recommend it because that's the whole thrust is don't be lazy. And I'm not saying you're lazy, but don't be lazy. Go through the process and be thinking about this whole thing. Oh, Chris, you got to explain how everybody, because I don't even know how you download the handouts, the manual, and I've actually got a spreadsheet that's all laid out that you do fill in. Well, the prompts are there, and the program will tell you how to post a thing. But how do you do that? Chris? Hello?
Sorry, Bob, can you say that again?
Yeah. How do the people here get the handouts?
So I've put the link in a couple times. I'll put it in again. And
Oh,
also,
okay. I didn't see that.
yeah,
Okay.
so it's in the chat, and they should be out, but like I said, I'll put it in again. And they will be on the,
Chapter website.
YouTube.
yeah, on the,
Oh, your chapter website.
on
Okay.
the chapter website in Better Investing.
There was a question about if you put in like a format or something or fill in a chart. If you put in, for example, a blank table plus your other data, you can direct Notebook LM to take specific data to put it into the table that you would like. That's another thing you could do.
Yep. Only caution with that is sometimes it makes up stuff, so be careful, double check everything.
Of course.
And be careful what you bring in because this is if you bring in garbage, it's going to mess everything up
Yeah.
on things. So. Oh, and you can do a study guides. You can make up a briefing document. And if there's something that's a time series thing, you can do that. You could do frequently asked questions, and it's like the briefing document. If you want to know what's in your overall, like with the Buffett things, that may be a good thing. Briefing, what this whole corpus of information, what's in there? Okay, and right here, this is giving you the briefing thing, overview, revenue and earnings, the growth drivers, profitability and margin. You can see it's been talking to me, so it knows what I want. Financial health, valuations, project, all this, competitive advantage, red flags. You can ask it directly. What are the red flags? What should I be watching out for? Competitive landscape, conclusions and recommendations. This is all good stuff. It really is. And if you really like it, you can press this button, convert to source, and it brings it over here. So it doesn't have to go through all the grinding, however long it takes to do things. It's got this as a source. You can see just how powerful this is, and that power is also its Achilles heel. that if you go and you bring in garbage into it, you allow false things to come in, then it's going to taint the whole thing. Now, having said that, let's say you go through and you say, okay, this one's garbage. You can choose not to have that included in the conversation. If it's really garbage, you can go through, and I'm not going to delete it, but you can remove it. And of course, you can rename it so it makes something sense to you. And this whole thing, there should be, well, you can just do a control. Well, that's not going to work. You can go and you can highlight this whole thing and paste it into a Word document or something like that. Or you could take this and you say, okay, this whole document's great, but do me a favor and summarize it. Go through, give you a much shorter summary, just what you got.
Bob, you can also, since you did the convert to source and put it on the left side, what you can do is deselect everything else, but just leave only that one turned on as selected, and then regenerate your map, your mind map. So it will.
Good
Yes.
idea.
Yeah. So the other
Okay.
original mind map will still stay there, but this one is specific to the SSG or whatever stuff that you've done. So it works pretty well too.
Excellent. Yeah. And this whole dynamic you're seeing tonight is what we get, because I'm the buy that club guy. This is the value of being in an investment club. You bring in all different people, different backgrounds and all that, and you come up with something that's much bigger than
Yeah.
what any of us individually.
Yeah.
And a tool, here's what it looks like.
Yeah, so now your entire document or that convert source is
Yeah.
now in a graphical form.
And that was a good tip.
Yeah,
That's
the other
really
thing you
good.
can do is you can go to the leaves, like when you keep pressing the arrows, the right arrows,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so when you go to the leaf, but individually, if you click the rectangle, like for example, if you click the skilled server segment, just click the rectangle. Yeah, if you just click that, it'll automatically create a prompt for you and then generate content associated with that rectangle.
Wow.
So you don't have to actually go right to the leaf of the tree in the mind map, just so that you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you can see, I mean, this is just one company. You can see just how valuable this thing is.
Yep.
It's really awesome. So Notebook LM is my core thing, and all the rest of it, these are feeder things that are coming in. And well, I guess we're at the point where I want to thank you all for bearing with me, for paying attention, for particularly your questions and all the tips that you've given us. This has been a great experience for me, and I hope it has been for you. That goes back to one of the questions I was asking you earlier, that hopefully this has been an hour of your time that was well spent.
Hey, good job.
Okay.
Really enjoyed it. Make the checks payable to Steve Emmerich, and I'll give you the address to send them to.
All
Text in the
right.
mail, Steve.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob. That was great.
And there won't be any rubber content in that check.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob. That
Bob.
was
That
really
was
fun.
great.
Thank
Good
you.
job, Bob. Enjoyed it. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Bye,
Until
everybody.
next time.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Thanks, Bob.
Guess you got to turn off the recording.
Oh, yeah. Thanks
We're
for
going
reminding me.
away. And
Thanks
how
for
do I
reminding me,
leave?
Bob.
Uh-huh.